them carried his presence. And yet, they were his blood. Later that night, when he got home, he couldn't sleep. He stared at his fridge hummed. No wife. Of children's laughter that didn't. He picked up a baby photo of a feelings grew darker. Jealousy, pain, and a heavy sense of being used kept piling. But how did I end up giving away my children? He kept asking himself. One evening, they're mine. I can't just donate my. Plan began to form. It started with simple things. He called Tola. Was fine. Asked if he could take Elijah to the park. But Mark had always said Elijah should know uncle. So she agreed. Elijah's hand, listening to him talk, he saw his own face in that child. A few days later, he did the same with Sarah. And the more time he spent with them, Tola noticed the shift too. Daniel was asking more questions, showing up more often, taking more photos, talking to the kids like he was preparing. Didn't look up. They're his kids. No. It's like he wants more than visits. Mark. I don't want him to take them. Mark gave a dry laugh. You don't want him to take his own children. They're ours too. Voice cracking. Mark stared at her. No, Tola. They're yours and his. I'm just the guy who paid the price. Called Mark directly. Near the mechanic shop. I want to be more involved in their. Slowly. What does that mean? I want joint custody. I want them to know who I really am. Mark stared at him. We had. I knew what it would feel like to watch my kids. Mark placed his cup down. So you want to rip my home apart? I want my blood to know me. Mark shook his head. You didn't give them up. You gave me a life. You made. Daniel leaned in. Yeah, and now I regret it. They sat in silence. Then Daniel said something Mark wasn't expecting. If you don't give me access, I'll go to court. Mark hadn't slept properly in weeks. He paced the living room most nights. Every hour, listening for cars. He spoke. And when he did speak, his voice had lost its strength. Tola tried to come. Last words at the cafe haunted him. We'll go to court. If this goes to court, they'll definitely ask, he said. And once the small nod. I understand that. But the law follows biology. For you. Mark's hands tried, quietly. She was feeding Sarah, now a bubbly toddler full of giggles and sharp teeth. And Mark gently. He didn't bring gifts or wear a fake smile. He came with a plan. But I want them with me. They're my blood. You gave them to me. Now let me raise them. Mark came out from the hallway. His face was tired. His voice because I'm tired of watching someone else play father while I live alone. You agreed. Mark shouted. You said it was for me. Family. And now I've changed my mind. Daniel grew up from a distance. Daniel came back with a signed agreement that Tola had quietly helped draft. It allowed the child. Tola cried the entire time. Elijah didn't understand what was happening. Sarah just clapped when she saw Daniel, calling him Uncle Dan. As the car pulled away, he whispered, "That's the end of me." The house was quiet now. Steps. Just silence. The bed was still unmade. A small teddy bear lay in the corner. He sat, a woman, a boy. Written his name above the figure with a big smile. Now, someone else would take that place. Over the next few He gave away most of his clothes. He deleted all the baby videos from his phone, but kept the photos. He cleaned the house top to bottom, even areas he hadn't touched in months. The car was still outside. By afternoon, the police came. They found him later that day, down by the abandoned bridge near the edge of town. I couldn't stop you from needing someone else. I loved Elijah and Sarah more than life, but I was every single day. Goodbye. Fainted when the police stayed in the hospital for 2 nights, eat or speak. Daniel came once. She asked him to leave, but she couldn't look at him. Her body had gotten weak, her skin still hurting, much contact would confuse them. And I'll raise them the way I looked at her. Sarah and never went back. Back home, the house was too quiet against her face like it still had a scent. She slept on the couch most nights. Ate once a day. Not at all. When her friends called, she did. Jasmine came by once and found her lying on the floor, weak and cold. Tola, you need help, she said, crying. But Tola didn't move. She just whispered, they don't even call me mommy anymore. Her body started to give up. Doctors said her blood pressure was too high. Her heart was weak. She needed rest, food, medicine. But she didn't care. The only thing I want is to see my kids, she told one